being limited, that is a big reason why I do what I do, because I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be limited in any aspect. So if there's any type of limits that I feel, like I immediately start to see how I can break it. And that helps me level up. It also helps push me. I don't see limits as a bad thing. I just see it as like, okay, well, how can I get to that next level?
Hello, Summer. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this time to spend with you and learning a little bit about you and what makes you you.
Yes.
And so we'll just go ahead and just dive in. Who is Summer Trenkle? If you can describe who you are without your achievements, which there are many, who are you?
I love that question. I'm a woman of faith. That's a big reason, of everything in my life. That I would say that's number one. I'm also just very optimistic and very free spirit. Like I don't stress a lot. I try to always stay positive. And I think just embodying that energy has just been amazing over the last, 6 to 8 years of the challenges and everything that I've been through, just being able to always stay optimistic. So a lot of people say that about me. It's like I'm always just bubbly, happy, I don't get stressed a lot. So yeah, I would say that's kind of, a short little version of who I am.
I love it. I love it. I like that you started with a woman of faith. This is a great foundation to have that probably trickles into what you have become now. If you can start where you think your story began to the moment that you are now, what can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so growing up, my parents always say I was kind of an entrepreneur and always like health conscious. Like those are two things they always told me like from a young age. Don't know what made me that way, but I was kind of always, doing garage sales, doing lemonade stands, and then always just never like overate, never, went crazy with any food growing up. Again, don't know why. I was young, didn't know much. But growing up, that kind of led me to be an athlete. So I actually grew up playing soccer really, really hardcore. Every weekend, every day after school, I would just remember going to soccer practice, training, and just trying to be the best athlete I could be. So I was very competitive. And, growing up, I wanted to be a professional soccer player. But being a professional soccer player required a lot of things from you. One, you need a lot of money to get the right training and to be on the right club teams. And we could not afford that financially. So basically, my dreams were crushed essentially because I wasn't able to be the best I could be because I didn't have those resources, the financial resources to be able to get me to that point. But I tried my best. And then, I hit college and realized, I can't be a professional soccer player anymore. And that's when I started bodybuilding actually. So I was always health conscious, and then I got into bodybuilding because I wanted to stay committed and disciplined in college. Didn't want to party, didn't want to, be like everyone, the standard of college. Yeah, did bodybuilding for like 4 or 5 years, and that actually got me into online fitness coaching, where I officially started making money online and started my own business. But I was going to college at the same time. So it was a lot of stress. I knew college wasn't something that aligned with me, but I knew my parents really wanted me to go to college, really wanted me to go the traditional route. But every day I show up to class or wake up, I was not excited. I was stressed. I got to the point where I was super depressed. Like I didn't even want to go to the gym, which was the one thing that I loved to do at the time. So I knew something needed to change. And then from there, I decided, going into my second year of college, that I was going to drop out. And having that conversation with my parents was definitely not the easiest conversation. I actually remember a moment from that night that I told my parents, I'm not going to be going to college anymore. I'm dropping out. I want to pursue my fitness business. And my dad literally told me, he said, you'll never make it in the fitness industry. You're just like everybody else. And that was, it hurt so much because my dad and I were super close. I knew he didn't mean it that way, but I'm also super grateful because it pushed me to want to kind of prove that I didn't have any limits. He tried to put limits over me, but I wanted to break those limits. And yeah, I ended up going into fitness coaching for a few years, kind of tapped out there because I didn't know how to leverage, have a team, have assistant coaches, and I wanted to make more money. So I got into e commerce and from there, it's been a journey, and I've been doing e-commerce for the last almost 5 years now. So, in short, that's a bit of my story.
Wow, that's amazing. Going back to where your dad told you, that you wouldn't make it. Sometimes even the people that have your best interests in life can actually be the ones that killed your dream. And
Hmm.
it's not because they want to kill it, they're watching out. And also, too, other people will put their fears on you.
Hmm.
And there you go, you become fearful. It's very inspiring that even that coming from your dad, you were able to just go ahead and still keep on going because look where you're at now.
Yeah.
And it's like you look up back and then this is like the perfect reason or pivotal moment that created the life that you're in.
Yeah, limits. Like I hate limits. So I'm always trying to push the limit. I'm always trying to see what what I'm capable of, growing up being limited by money and then having, my dad speak limitations over me. Just being limited, like that is a big reason why I do what I do because I don't want to be limited. I don't want to be limited in any aspect. So if there's any type of limits that I feel like I immediately start to like see how I can break it. And, that helps me level up. It also helps push me. I don't see limits as a bad thing. I just see it as like, okay, well, how can I get to that next level? How can I get over this hurdle or whatever? So,
Yeah, and it's good because I have similar mindset, and sometimes you don't know what you can actually do until you stretch yourself, and then makes you push yourself. You really will step into the next level without even really knowing. I'm sure your dad is super proud of you right now.
yes, we're still very close, He meant the best, and it was a moment they were, upset that I wasn't going to college when I was going to a great college at the time, which a lot of people, couldn't get into. So I was like kind of on this pedestal to them, and then for them to have me drop out, it was just like, almost like an embarrassing thing as a parent. I can understand, but
Well, he can definitely know his daughter is very resilient.
yes.
So you created Female Financial Secrets, and I guess, what's the motive behind it, and what is you're hoping to impact other women?
Yeah, I love that question. So I love empowering women, helping women, and building women to be able to be financially independent and also confident. Because I feel like if we can accomplish things for ourselves, we build that confidence within us and it just shines in all aspects of our life. But I think the biggest driving force for me is I feel like a lot of the older generation, like the women always, were financially dependent on a man. And that has caused a lot of, problems, pain, trauma. It's like things that could have been avoided if women knew how to make money on their own. And for my family, for example, my mom never worked growing up. So my dad was like the only provider, and my mom knew nothing about finances, still doesn't know anything about what's going on. And that terrifies me. I'm like, you never know. Like, what if something happens? Like, you wouldn't even know how to get into your bank account. It's like little things like that that is just has always scared me and made me want to actually learn about money, actually learn how to make money. And I know that my mom's not the only one in a situation like that. And my goal is just to help women, know how to make money. I'm not against having a man provide at all, but I still think that women should learn how to make money on their own just so they have that as something to fall onto. Or if they want to get their nails done or do something a little extra, they have that extra money for themselves. And the goal of Female Financial Secrets is just to help women make money online in different avenues so that they don't have to go to work. They can be home with their families. They can have more time to just be at home with their kids, their significant other.
Creating that financial freedom, what has created that in your life now?
Definitely just, well, e-commerce is huge. Like, there's so many ways to make money online, and I'm always trying to learn a new avenue, learn how to get better at what I do. But definitely just, selling on Amazon is where I started. And then, I got into having my own brands, got into Walmart, TikTok shop, and, teaching people how to do that as well. So all of that, I'm still able to run pretty much from anywhere around the world on my computer. So to me, like that's freedom, being able to clock in, clock out whenever I want, not work or work whenever I want, and still make money. So that has been, a game changer over the last few years.
What do you do when Summer sometimes doesn't want to get out of bed and says, not today? Like, what fuel you to get out of bed when that hits?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely days that I feel like that, but I truly like created a life that I literally love every single day. But there are moments where I'm extra tired or, not feeling well. And what gets me out of bed is, the responsibilities that I have. I feel like I'm very responsible for my team members. I'm responsible for my students. I'm responsible for my parents and, taking care of all those people financially really just like makes me want to, okay, I have to show up every single day. But there's some days, I'll just go get a cup of coffee, do my hair and makeup and wear a cute outfit, do something that makes me feel good on the inside and kind of like rewarding myself in a way. And that can help me just get out of bed, feel motivated. And of course, listening to podcasts, listening to Christian music, that's a good way that I get my energy back up as well. Because, we have to fill our cup in order to pour out to other people. So, reading, spending time with God, listening to podcasts, all those things can help you fill your cup. Again, taking care of yourself, maybe taking a bath or doing a skincare routine, grabbing coffee, something like that to help you get back to your ground level and be able to, grind and put back into your business.
Yes, and you answered the question already. I was going to ask you, what do you do to kind of like balance your life? And because as an entrepreneur myself, it can get pretty hectic sometimes, where sometimes you don't think that you do have a life.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like taking that step back and saying, you know, yes, it's all working hard, but it's also, enjoying the fruit of it. I worked very hard in my business for 3 years, and now I'm able to see the fruit of it. And like a lot of people see that part, but don't know what came from it. Definitely balancing and doing all those self-care is very much needed.
For sure. Yeah, that's a really tough topic because I'm for both. Like I'm all for grinding, but I'm also for balance. And I think the like the middle piece, or I would say connecting piece between that is you just have to have purpose in what you do. Like you have to have purpose because if you start to get out of that purpose, you're gonna just feel horrible no matter how much money you make. There was a point in my life where I made the most money I'd ever made in a month, and I was the most unhappy I'd ever been in my life. And I had to take a step back. Like, what am I doing this for? Like, I have all this money, but I'm not happy. Like, what's my purpose? What am I really doing this for? Because I was grinding so much, like you said, no balance, zero balance. Relationships were going bad. My personal relationship with God was going bad. Family, like it was just an unhappy place for me, but money was there, right? Like I should be happy, but the other rest of my life had fallen apart because I was just grinding 24/7. So, like if I could go back, I would definitely, take a little bit more time for family, for myself, and just like being purposeful and intentional in my days and my relationships. I think could have changed, could have, helped me not get to that point. But it is hard when you're grinding so much. So, you definitely just have to, I think, be intentional and have a purpose in what you do every day, and that will help you stay grounded. Having something that, keeps you grounded, even amidst the grind, can really just help you through that.
What do you think helped you to try to get out of that? Because as some entrepreneurs, I didn't know how to get out of it.
Hmm.
And it was very hard because I started 24/7 and it kind of like stayed like that for many years. And people will say, you have to balance. And I'm like, well, I'll balance later. Right now, I need to stay focused. But there is time where you do need to balance. So what do you think you started doing to get you out of there, out of that hole?
Yeah. I kind of did something a little crazy, which I wouldn't recommend for people, but I did a solo trip to Mexico and I lived in Mexico for like 3 months. It actually like woke me up because the culture there is very different. And it made me realize how much I have and like how much I'm blessed with. So I think that perspective shift like brought me back to reality. So that was a little extreme, but I'm kind of an extreme person. I wouldn't recommend that to everybody, but I would say, I mean, there's still days like last night I was up till like 11:30, prepping packages, working on my business. My boyfriend was taking a call until like 10:30, so like there's still those nights where I'm working super late. But got up early today and was back on it and felt amazing. But that's because I had purpose and intention in my day. But yeah, I really say like that purpose and intention. And now like I start my mornings reading the Bible and just having quiet time to myself. That is like prepping me for the crazy day ahead.
That's so good. I love, oh my gosh, a trip to Mexico for 3 months. Wow. I mean, and I have not done it for that long time. When I went through my divorce, I said, I want to take a trip just by myself. And I was able to do that like 3 years later, or maybe five. But I got to that point and it was very liberating and felt very good that I was in a position not just financially to do that, but it's within you to be able to be by yourself, to work on yourself and just kind of like readjust everything. I mean, you do what you need to do for you. Like, we are our biggest investment. So, yes, invest into yourself. So, there's nothing extreme about it, even though I love it.
I like that you said that too, because it was like I was working on my phone so much and doing all that, and then being alone, I'm like, I don't want to go on my phone. Like, this is weird. Like, I want to be present. I want to, like, meet people and talk to people. So it made me realize, like, who am I away from all this stuff? And, to people that don't have any idea about e commerce, about what I do, about, this, it made me just, like, kind of come back to reality. And it was definitely, amazing experience. I wouldn't, I wouldn't go back and change a thing about it.
I love it. I love it because even if you sometimes too, I like to just step away from my environment when I'm about to plan for what I want to do in the next three months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. I have to pull myself to have clarity. So I can only imagine what a force came out of that.
For sure, yes. It made me go so much harder on my business. Definitely. But I'm a very free spirit person. Like I'll just do things like that. I like to be spontaneous. But I can like I've come to the point where I can like hold everything together and still like do that. So it took a while to get to that point.
Yes, you said just something right now, holding everything together. That's very tough, you know. That's very tough to do. You have to be in a good mindset to be able to hold everything together, help others while you're still holding on and making sure that nothing.
Mhm.
So I know, I don't know, it's just you mentioned that and I think it is because that's where I'm at in the situation that
Mhm.
I'm trying to hold everything together. And sometimes it's easier than not. One day, like today is great. Yesterday, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely times where I'm like, what is going on? Things happen. Like last year was crazy with my business, so many issues. But I think all of that is just like I feel like as an entrepreneur, you fail so many times and things happen that it's like, okay, this is supposed to happen. So what's next? How do I find a solution? So I kind of like try to like not control everything, but control it at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like have a control on it, know what's going on, but like if something's thrown at me or, something happens, then it is what it is. And I find a solution. That's kind of how
Yes,
because if you're so attached to having to control everything, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have stress, and, that's not going to help you be in your creative state and abundant state because you're just focused on like, that control aspect.
yeah, and I think too, like I will put a different meaning to control. That's
Mhm.
the control of just having control of your life. But there is a control that you know where everything in your life is. And
Mhm.
that is the control that I think you're referring to. And
Yeah.
that's the control that I like to be, that I know this is where I'm at in this part of my life and this my business and this whatever else I'm doing. So having control of knowing what I need to do. Um, so if there is, for one of our audience, a woman that might have lost their, I guess, their motivation or inspiration to really go after their dream, what can you tell them?
That's a good question. I would just get really clear on why. Why do you feel like you need to do something? Why do you feel like, you need to achieve more? And I like to call it like the seven whys. What's your first answer? It might be like generational wealth. And then you ask yourself, why do you want generational wealth? And you keep asking yourself until you hit at least seven whys. And then you'll get to the true reason of why you actually want to do the thing you want to do, or why do you want to do more than what you're doing right now. But I feel like if you feel that you are meant for more and you want to do more, not a lot of people get that feeling. And I think it's there for a reason. So follow that, journal, like try to get clear on your why, because your why will help you overcome that fear, overcome that lack of motivation. Anytime that you feel like you're stuck, it'll help you overcome that. So I like to use that, your why, as like leverage to overcome that fear, because I think lack of motivation sometimes can underlying be fear. Like you're just scared of the unknown, or you're scared of what's next, or you're scared of taking that leap, and just trying to like getting really clear on that. So I think that seven whys can really help you understand what it is, that you actually want and why you want to do it. And then, motivation's not always going to be there, but your why will. So that will help you get through those days.
Yeah, that's definitely very, very impactful. That's so good because even sometimes we don't have the why or we don't know what our why is when we're starting off. Doing that exercise will definitely let you know what your why is.
Mhm.
And for sure is what fuels everything.
Exactly, because it might be just make more money. Why do you want to make more money? I want to buy more things. Why do you want to buy more things? Well, growing up, I couldn't afford it. So then you get like really down to like why you want to make more money, not because making money is just it's way deeper than that. Like, why do you want to make money, or why do you want to impact people? Were you impacted by someone? There's so much that is deeper than just like the first thing that comes to mind.
So now that you mention impacting people, who impacted you throughout your life?
Good question. I'm trying to think. Well, there was one girl in the fitness industry. Her name was Cass Martin, and she just like adored me. And I was like so new to the fitness industry. I actually had gone to a Fit Expo by myself. And if you know what a Fit Expo is, it's like thousands of people there and a lot of fitness booths. I went by myself just to connect with people and like put myself out there, get uncomfortable. And I had met her, and she had like, a million followers at the time. I looked up to her. She was so pretty, like super fit. I wanted to be like her. And she just like loved me, and like she told me, that I could do anything I wanted to do if I put my mind to it. She believed in me, and she really got me to just keep going and, never stop showing up. I've also I used to work with William Rivera, and he impacted me a lot with the e-commerce aspect and taught me a lot about, how to like, structure a business, market and everything. And he was just, he did it all for me, and I appreciate everything that he's done. So he had a big impact on me. Those two people, they've definitely had the biggest impacts on me. So I'm trying to be, that person who helps other people and puts people on game.
Well, you're already that person.
Thank
You're mentoring a lot of us, including myself. So you're already that person, and I do appreciate everything that you have done, your knowledge, your teaching, because as for me, I know your help hundreds and even I know thousands to come to
you.
be able to unlock that freedom in their life and their money and their success. You're already that person.
Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy. I love my students. Like, I think that's a shift that I've done in like the last year and a half. It's just really like I love my students, and just taking time to get to know them, like, really just be more than just a coach to them. So that's something that I'm working on improving this year too, because I used to like work with thousands of students, and it was hard for me to connect with everyone. So now I've
Mhm.
been more like specific on who we take on. We literally turn people down all the time. So it's nice to get to that point where it's like, I I have to feel aligned with the students that I take on, and I want to make them successful. And it just feels way more fulfilling that way to me.
Yeah, and I have read many books on leadership, and that's actually one of the things that they say that a good leader invests into their staff, their team, and it's not just it's investing into a personal connection. And I feel that you have done that as well. I think that's I told you in the beginning there was something that it kept on leading me to you, so I don't know what it was, but I think that's probably one of the things that make you so successful, and your student make them successful as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, is there anything, any topic, or anything, comment, or advice, suggestion that we probably didn't touch on that is dear to your heart, or that you just want to let everyone know? What would be that message?
I like my favorite quote of all time is action trumps knowledge and just taking action, like just doing the thing, no matter if you have the knowledge or not, because saying yes is going to force you to figure out it out versus, maybe I'm going to wait to say yes. You're not going to do anything in that time period. But if you say yes, you commit, you show up and you say I'm going to do this, you take action on your goals, you're going to make it happen. So like I love to put myself in situations where I'm terrified and I don't even know how to, maybe I don't know how to do it, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know the people. I'm like, okay, I'm going to still do it because I know I'm going to grow. I know I'm going to learn something. And like I said, failure is a part of the process. So I don't care if I fail. I'm going to learn and not do it again. So I think getting to that mindset of knowing that it's, failure is part of the process, but you have to take action. Like action is the only way to actually see success, because you can know everything you possibly want to know, but if you never take action on that knowledge, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's my biggest piece of advice for anyone that has these big goals or wants to do these things. Actually do it. Like actually take a step towards that and commit to something that's going to make you level up and show up every day.
Wow, amazing, inspiring. Thank you so much. Where can our audience and viewers can find you at?
Yeah, Summer Trenkle, pretty much on all social media platforms. And then femalefinancialsecrets.com, that's our website. We also have a Facebook group, but it's only for women. So, yeah, those platforms, I share a lot of like business tips, encouragement, how to get started with your e-commerce business. But definitely have a lot of things in the works for this next year. Live events, student meetups, women mastermind. So a lot of things that I'm going to be coming out within the next year. So if you want updates on that, definitely, keep up with me on social media. And yeah, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me on, Denise. I also love Denise. She's been an amazing student and also just person overall. And she's a true testament to being a woman in business. I remember when you got on the webinar, you reached out to me the next day. You're like, can I still join? Like, I need to do this. And you signed up right away. You said, yes, I'm going to do this. And you wasted no time, and like that is what you need, and that's the mindset you need to be successful. And you did. You made like $6,000 your first 30 days. It goes to show like you showed up, you committed, and you were forced to level up by making that commitment. That goes for anything, right? Like hiring a life coach, or joining a community, like that's going to make you level up. That's a decision in the right direction. So I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I can't wait for this year, what's going to come out of all this planning. I can't wait to see it. You know, I'm going to be there, whatever you do. So
I
thank
love
you
it.
so much for taking the time to meet with me.